So I just learned a new word today. The word is candor. What candor means is it's the quality of being open and honest in expression. I think everyone should learn this word today. Sometimes in life the problems we have, it's not about, the person that we have to figure things out. It's the issue we should be targeting. Strip away all the personal, shortcomings and problems. How could we solve this the quickest without muddying the waters? Welcome back. Welcome home. Episode 2. Let me check real quick. 35. And we're back, baby. It's another Mikey Solo Espresso podcast, dude. You know what we're going to do. We're going to get deep. We're going to get introspective. We're going to get... Hopefully I'm not going to scare my parents again because they listened and they were like, are you okay, dude? Or are you depressed? Or what's going on? But honestly, that was really interesting to me. But we can get into that. But first, let me shout out the realest partner of the You're Here podcast, Anytown Actors Lab. Look, if you're trying to learn how to act, if you're in the beginning stages, you don't know what to do, I'm telling you right now, go on anytownactorslab.com, sign up for a free consultation. You get a free consultation. I honestly don't know what they do. I should probably do it. But I know that they evaluate you, they figure out where your strengths are, what you should work on, and they give you a plan and they teach you. And I'm going to be real, it's the best acting teaching right now in the world. AnytownActorsLab.com. If you want to start learning, go on their TikTok and you can see how experienced this guy is. Adam Louder, shout out. We love you. AnytownActorsLab.com. Shout out to the patrons, patreon.com/YouAreHerePodcast. It's the best way to support us. If you want to throw us a bone, if you like what we do, if you're one of those people listening right now, I love you and I appreciate you. And, I just wish the best for everyone. You know what I mean? Just know I'm being 100%. I'm looking into the camera right now. I love you. All right? And maybe if I don't even know you, it's okay. I love you. Candor, baby. But yeah, that's it. That's all we got. Now we have an hour. Yo, come on, guys. Come on, everyone, gather by the campfire. I set up a new light today. It's nice and bright. I wanted to make it a bit moody today because I'm going to be real. Let me start it off good. So I spent the last 2 hours dealing with technical difficulties. And you know what? The problems keep piling up and showing up, but I just keep knocking them down, baby. And we're making it happen. It's midnight. I'm making it happen. All right? It was a long day, dude. I'm feeling very, very happy. Let's pick a better word. I'm just feeling very, very, oh man, I need to expand my vocabulary, dude. This sucks. Happy. I'm feeling happy, dude. No, I'm feeling blessed. Ooh, that's a Dave word, dude. Let me. Dave's not here because he's sick, and I gotta. This is Dave's all of Dave's essence and presence and everything he brings to the podcast, and I'm just gonna put it on my shoulders, all right, and carry the team, because we know who really carries the team. Just kidding. We love you, Dave, and I mean that, and I hope you feel better, man. I hope you're laying in bed. Maybe you're still watching. Maybe you're still sick, dude. I don't know what you did over the weekend, man. We're not going to get into that. But I hope you feel better. But, dude, I'm feeling very blessed. And that word reminded me of Dave. I'm feeling blessed just because I feel like, a lot of things... I quit recently. I quit a second job, right? And... I've been really thinking about this. I was working at this job. It's the cafe. If we've listened to the podcast, me and Davey, we met at the cafe. It's like It's like a true love story, dude. We became best friends after we met at a cafe and we worked together, and it was an awesome time. It's a cool place. Shout out the Fine Grind out in Little Falls, New Jersey. You can still catch Dave there if you want to say hi. But dude, it's it's a place with a lot of memories, and sometimes it's hard to leave places where you feel comfortable, where you feel at home, where you feel like you know you can really, I don't know, like there's something about, I don't know, I feel like growing up I always like moved from part time to part. I started work at like 16, 17. Yeah, like underage. I started working at a retirement home restaurant. My brother worked there too. And I think that's how where it started, that like, I don't know, that work life, that work ethic. And I moved through a couple different jobs and everything. And there's something about like really like going into a place brand new and then like learning every little nook and cranny and where these things are and these things are. It's like the natural progression of like figuring out, you know, like a role, like a profession or something like that. Like people are depending on you, and those are important, I think, lessons in life that you learn to become an adult and figure things out. And it just feels weird when I would always like, I remember I was like, oh, I'll never stay at a place for more than 2 years, man. And I did. I never did. You know what I mean? Until I went to this cafe, and a big 7 years later, and I'm gone. And I think that there's something to that. You know what I mean? Like why I was there for so long, and just that, like almost just being comfortable in that space. And I think you know what it is? It's being comfortable in that space, finding people that I really, really love. And also I think I really found like I don't even know, like an art that I love too. Like coffee, there's like an art there, man. There really is. There's like a skill, there's a lot there. I saw something pissed me off so much. I was scrolling on the TikTok, dude, and I saw someone, it was like people were arguing about why should I tip for like a cup of coffee, you know? Like at a Starbucks or whatever, any cafe or anything like that. It's like you're pouring stuff. Why should I tip you? You know what I mean? And that just like really, I don't know, man. That just really grinds my gears. First of all, you don't have like $1 to just spare. You know what I mean? Like, especially for like a little local shop. I get it, maybe like Starbucks and stuff like that. But this is still young people. This is the youth coming to grow, and I just heard a weird loud bang. That was crazy. What was that? Is the world ending? It's still going. We're gonna ignore that. But it's like the youth is growing into like the new age, like the new generation, the new generational workforce. You know what I mean? And we're like, I feel like we're already like shooting down these people that are like trying to learn how to survive in the world. And I really feel like that. I don't know if I see a lot of that like bashing, that's like bashing down on like younger generations and stuff. And I feel like it's not healthy, man. I think I do my fair share of it too, honestly. We all do, but sometimes I think about like the long lasting implications of like actually, you know, being harsh on the younger generations. What can that do to you? Think about all the things that you learned if you go to therapy and stuff. Like, what are the things that you learned that from the older generations that maybe traumatized you? You know what I mean? Like, I think this is doing that already to the younger generations, and it's not good. We should stop doing that. And I think like being like, I'm not gonna tip like this young kid that's pouring the coffee, just flipping a switch and giving me pouring water, and then I have to tip them. It's like, fuck that, man. But it's like, hey, dude, it's a job, and it's not just they don't just sit there all day and go like this and like do one motion and move coffee. Like they get trained for a position. They're expected for a job. I don't. People just want to be outraged, huh? And I'm just getting outraged about outrage, and it's stupid. It makes no sense. And you know what? I hate that feeling where you feel like, maybe if we get enough people to get against these people, that we could figure something out. We could change their minds. But it's like, it really doesn't matter, dude. Because you know what? That guy doesn't tip. And maybe, I don't know. Maybe then we all tip and it equals out. You know what I mean? But I worked in the service industry for a long time, bro. And I'm going to be real. People are brutal. People are very brutal. We can go into some stories actually from, I worked at a couple things, man. Let me do a story from each job. I think Dave knows all these. I don't think I told a lot of these stories over the course of the podcast. So first story, let's see. The first story, you know what? I'm gonna start it off with maybe I'll give a good like a positive story and then also a dark story. So let's see. With my first job, it was a retirement home restaurant, right? So we would serve the old people. They'd come in for dinner, and we're we got to serve them. They have their own tables, blah blah blah. And this is a positive story. There was this lady. Her name was Miss Martin, and for some reason, and these are all 16 to 20-year-olds, that range of people. So there's a little bit of they're like, oh, fuck old people. It's they're kind of talking shit, and, they're not being, they make fun of them. And it's kind of sad. You know what I mean? But the young just messing around kind of stuff. And for some reason, everyone hated this lady, Miss Martin, just because she walked, at a snail's pace. She would be tiptoeing, trying to, with a walker, it'd take her, at least 5 minutes to get, from the entrance to a table, and everyone hated her for that. And I was always like, dude, I just feel bad, you know what I mean? And I think that's because I felt bad because I had my great-grandma, and I just had a soft spot for old people, you know what I mean? I had some compassion there. And I remember, it was a couple, weeks, people kept being like, oh, Miss Martin, they're like, oh, let me check my watch. It's been 5 hours. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I remember that one day I was just I saw everyone, she was walking in. I was watching her. I was like, you know what? I go up to her. I say, Miss Martin, take a seat on your walker. And she sat on it, and I rolled her to her thing. You know what I mean? Just I rolled her to her table. They saved her so much. Imagine picking up a turtle and putting it all the way across the street. It was like that, basically. And I remember everyone is just a standing ovation, clapping for me because of this. But everyone was talking smack the whole time. And it's just kind of sad. So I kept doing that for Miss Martin, But it's I don't know. It's sad, in a way. It's positive but sad. I was able to help her like that, and dude, she lit up, dude. These old people are in retirement homes for their whole lives, just rotting away. They literally had a book for people that died this week. I don't know. Maybe that made her stay there. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I don't have that much impact. You know what I mean? Maybe that was just a good day for her. And you know what, man? I think that's worth it. What's a dark story? A dark story, I would say, is there was a lot of I'm sure there's no problem saying this. But so we do sometimes deliveries to this retirement home. It's in a retirement home, so there's actual people living there. So we sometimes do deliveries to people's apartments, these old people. And there were some older, what would you call them? Some silver foxes would be, they would be a little bit flirtatious, all right? And they'd be like, oh, come on, honey, come into the door, come into my place, drop it off over here, and they're just laying in bed naked or something. And I heard these stories. I heard them all, so I was always if I got chosen to do delivery, I'd be like, oh no, we got to figure this out. And you walk 20 minutes away from everyone. There's no one to help you. So like I remember like one time I went, like the craziest thing that happened to me was just I'm bringing this thing. I don't remember this lady's name. I don't remember what she looks like anymore. I blocked out the memory. But I remember I brought the delivery. I knocked on the door. She's like, coming. And it took like 5 minutes. And she's slowly walking. And she opens the door. And she's wearing a robe. But like, it's just open. And it's all exposed. And for some reason, I don't know how, I was able to like just keep composure. But I said, here you go. And I just gave it to her and left. Just turned away and left. You know? So, maybe good on her, man. She was able to, have a little fun. It traumatized me. No, but those kinds of things would happen. And it was a little bit weird, but it's a fun story. I guess the only other story I would talk about is maybe I worked at a TGI Fridays. And let me just say, it was not in the best location. And I'll be real. There were some moments where your boy saw a little red. And almost got into fights sometimes. All right. There was a couple instances. There was this one that was like pretty bad, where it was this couple that came in, and when like sometimes a couple, if you work service, you have definitely had like the couple that is fighting or is about to like divorce or break up, and they come in and they just are silent and don't even look at each other, don't talk to each other, and you have to be like, "Welcome to Fridays. May I take your order? Could I start you off with a Long Island iced tea? Some Jack Daniel's wings, anyone?" And they're just like silent. They don't even answer me. And I'm like, all right, I'll give you 5 minutes. And then you walk away, and they're sitting there, and they start arguing and being pissed. And I'm like, all right. Like, I'm trying to find like the moment to like slide in and be like, all right, guys, you ready for some free wings? Some boneless wings, anyone? And so I slide in there, and they don't even order. The guy just says, "Excuse me, buddy. Answer me this question." And he tells me this whole the whole story of like him and this girl's. I think they were married, but their whole thing and their whole problem and argument. And honestly, I'm just looking at them like, I'm not even paying attention. And they're telling me this whole thing, and then the dude's like, he's like, "Whose side are you on?" And I was like, I don't really want to, I don't think I should pick a side, And he's like, "Well, you're not on my side, dude. Like, are you a little fuckboy? Like, what's going on?" And then I was like, dude, don't call me fuckboy, because not the fuckboy. I'm not a fuckboy. I'm far from it. All right. And that started getting me mad. And, I said, can I just take your guys' order? All right. Can I just take your order and that's it? Like, I don't want to be part of this. And he starts just like he gets up, and I'm like, all right, dude, I'm leaving. And I left. I chose to leave. All right. And I just told like the manager, I'm like, look, I'm not dealing with that shit. They should get the fuck out of here. All right. They're fighting. They're not getting anything. Get him out. And they got him out. So that was fun. So those are my fun stories from work days, man. There was one time there's another story. I'm a dumb. So we had a couple people. So the Fridays was in Wayne, part of a mall. And in New Jersey, I don't know if you maybe heard of it if you're not from New Jersey, but there's a town called Patterson. And Patterson is known for like being an old like silk town, like textile hub, like back in the day. And there was like, I think some fires and stuff where it made the city a lot more poor. There's actually a cool movie, Patterson. If you guys never watched that, it's what's his name? Adam Driver. Dude, in Patterson, they're literally like, he's a bus driver, poet, like it's awesome. It's so cool. It's a really good movie. I really like it. And it's so random. It's just about Patterson. You know what I mean? Like very specific. And it's a great movie. You should definitely watch that. But Patterson, maybe in the movie, they portray it pretty good. But Patterson has some pretty bad parts in it. You know, there's a good amount of crime, a little homeless. You know what I mean? And I was working with like 4 different people, and and there was one this one girl lived like in a pretty sketchy part of Patterson, and she was asking everyone honestly but me to like drive to get a ride home after like at 2 a.m. And she was asking like the big buff dudes, like a lot of like the big buff people would be like, oh, can you give me a ride? And they're like, oh no, you live over there, like I'm not driving you, like hell no, like I'm not going over there. And they all keep like, she keeps going to every single person, and then she finally comes to me, and I'm like, and while she's asking people, like other people are leaving, so like it's coming down to me because I'm closing, and we're gonna be both together closing. So she's like, oh, can you give me a ride? And I'm like, where do you live? She's like, oh, I'm like Patterson, and I'm like, all right, sure, why not? And I should have honestly said no because it got a little sketchy down there. I drove down there, and this is when I had my cherry red, like old ass BMW, like stick, like loud as fuck muffler exhaust, and I'm rolling down there with this girl. And I like get off the highway and I roll into like this, just like, you know, like it's like city streets, but there's no lights and there's people outside, right? And you can hear like it's just a commotion. And I'm like, dude, I hope everything's all right. There's people in like the middle of the street. I'm in this car. Everyone's looking at me. I'm like, I don't feel safe here. And I remember pulling up to the place that she lived, and it didn't look like a place where anyone would live. And I was like, well, all right, I'll see you later. And she's like, oh, just give me like a second. Give me 2 minutes or something. And I was like, all right. And I see people like down where she goes in are like looking at me. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to text her and be like, I got to go. Sorry. Bye. So I turn around and speed the hell out of there. But yeah, that was a little bit weird, a little sketchy, a little sketched out. Other than that, there's not really that much crazy stories. There are some stories I can't talk about that maybe if Dave is listening, he would understand. But let's go on to, I wanted to go. Oh, this is a stupid thing I overheard today. You know what? I feel like there's so many things you can learn just by like opening your ears in public, you know? I was at a bank, and for some reason there was like 2 people in front of me that brought like 20 grand in cash. And bankers, maybe you could tell me in the comments, but they have to count it like 10 times or something. Or like, I don't know if the machine is just slow and it takes forever, but it's just like, they have like stacks this big. It's all like ones. And it's taking, I literally was there for like 20 minutes just waiting to like deposit stuff. And it was making me angry. And there's this dude behind me that was just on the phone so loud talking. And I was kind of just overhearing his conversation because I'm not doing anything else. I'm just waiting. And he starts talking about how I think he had like, I think he got a new car or something. And he got in an accident. And they're testing him for like, I think drugs in his system or something. And there's some like discrepancy. There's some problem there. And I was like, listen, I'm like, what is this guy like talking? I think he had to take he didn't want to get a failed drug test or something because he was going to like the military or something like that. Everything was like, I was like, okay, like this is a really like weird story and everything. But what really got me, and I was trying really hard not to laugh, is he was calling the drug test. He said, he was asking, like, I think he was on the phone with a lawyer, and he's like, but like, why does the test say like pending? Like, what does pending mean? Like he said for the PP test. And I said, huh? He said, for the PP test, why does it say it's pending? Like, does that mean they're like, they still have the P? And I was like, are you saying PP to your lawyer? Like, I mean, come on, buddy. Like, gotta be a little professional here, man. The P test? Come on. And he said it like 5 different times. And it's so weird because he kept like, he was talking, and then some lady went up to him and was like asking like, oh, like what do you got to do and everything. And like she overheard all that. And I'm like, does anyone else like feel that it's weird that he's calling it like a PP test? I don't know. It just seemed immature. All right. But it's funny how what you can like overhear and I think I kind of like people watching and like overhearing conversations like that. You know what I mean? If I'm like, because sometimes I like going like to a cafe alone or something like that, read a book, you know what I mean, grab a coffee. And I like just people watching, you know, and it's kind of fun. I was actually talking to my brother about this. Like, I think me and him are very similar in that in public, if we're like on public transit or something, we're very like aware of our surroundings. Like we're ready for like everything. Maybe that's just like how we were raised. Like we're ready for whatever happens. We're like, we got to handle it. You know what I mean? And it's funny. We were both talking about how like on public transport, like a bus or a subway or train, we always my example is like I stand in a corner where there can't be someone behind me, and there's a door there, and I have enough space here, so if like someone does something, then I could just like really wind up and just destroy him. You know what I mean? And like there's a seat here, and like there it's facing that way, so like if he gets up and has a knife, then I can go behind him and just choke him and kill him. You know? And these are just this is the way we think. You know what I mean? And it's a little bit strange. I don't know if that's normal. If you guys do that too, just, you know, write it in the comment down below. Let us know. Let us know what you do. What do you fantasize? But I definitely have those weird, like I always think about, you know, even if it's like a car coming, I'm like, oh, what's that guy doing? Like, is he trying to make a parallel park into there? Like, you're not gonna fit there, buddy. Like, I don't know. I think I'm always observing. I'm always aware, hyper aware, almost, and it's strange. I don't know. I don't think because I really think it's strange because I notice when I ask other people that I'm with, I'm like, did you see that guy just like drop the pie and then like pick it up and just dust it off and then take a bite? Like, did you see that? And they're like, huh? No. What are you talking about? And we're both looking that way. And, you know, there's instances like that where it's just a little bit weird, you know? I think I'm a little hyper aware of things. And I don't know, maybe that's like a little anxiety thing that I got going on. But it is fun to like know what's going on around you. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stories there. There's a lot of stories out in the world where if you pay attention a little bit more, like you can learn a lot more about people. We're just about like the world, you know? Different characters. And I enjoy it. I enjoy doing that. I don't think I want to change that, you know? There's another thing I wanted to kind of get into for this podcast was Dave actually had something too. Maybe let's do Dave's thing first and then we'll go into my thing because it might take a while. He was telling me about, damn it, my memory's not going to fare well. But I basically know the question and what I want to talk about is, the question is, what is your fig leaf? Now, this was a story. Oh my God, I'm going to butcher this so bad, Dave. So please forgive me. But basically, oh man, what was it? I think it was with Adam and Eve, right? And no, it wasn't. Or yeah, Adam and Eve, like when they were just in, oh man, I'm so bad at this. When they were in the garden, yes. When they were in the garden, I think they were just like naked and they were very carefree or something. And then like once they had the fig leaf on them, that's when they were more reserved. And they, the fig leaf kind of represents like you're covering something up, you know, or like like the fig leaf is kind of like a metaphor for covering up like a thing you um like you don't want to deal with, or you don't want to put on the outside, for other people to know, and you're kind of like hiding from dealing with it. Um, and I found that very interesting. I feel like there's so many. I feel like we do that a lot, like the problems we have, like the fig leaf. Like what are we trying to like hide that we don't like about ourselves that we do, you know? And I want to explore something like that, I want to explore what I do. I think I think I'm aware of it, and I think I mentioned it maybe before, but I think a fig leaf I have, and I think it's actually hurting me pretty like physically. I think it's like affecting me is the the fact of throughout the day I'm always I realize like my lower back, core, and stomach is like very tense, and it's like instinctively I'm keeping like my core and my stomach like sucked in at all like times. Like I catch myself just doing it, and it's the more I think about it, like I think it's very uncomfortable to do that, and I think it causes like some like stomach kind of problems and stuff like that. I notice, and just like I think it really like tenses my back in a way that what's it called? My like back feels very like weak or like pained, or like when I'm running. Sometimes I've been realizing recently, I've been going to the gym a lot, that when I'm running, my lower back just starts hurting for I don't know why. Like I can run for like I feel like my legs I can run forever, but like my lower back just starts hurting. And that makes me stop running super far. And I kind of been putting it all together, and I think it's a combo of like this thing plus I think sitting down like on chairs too much. I learned that that's really bad for just like your lower back like strength, and it like really softens the I don't know, that area, and makes it very weak. And that's really bad for you, especially if you're like if I'm more like big boned, heavy set, you know what I mean? I got a little weight on me, you know what I mean? I'm trying to lose that. Just because I want to be more healthy, you know what I mean? To get a little better. I want to be healthy, man. And I think I always felt that like lower back was always like an issue for me. And it all makes sense when I really think about it, is that like tensing up of like my whole like lower body, like stomach area, you know? And I think that comes from just always having like a body dysmorphia, kind of like feeling like I'm too fat. And I don't know. Like I always felt like I always got that like growing up, and it was always a problem. I was always like more bigger bone, like my like my brother and cousin, like everyone would say like my legs are like tree stumps and everything, and I'm like sometimes it sounds cool, but sometimes I'm like I don't know, man. Like I don't want to be a tree stump, you know what I mean? And I think that kind of like maybe put a little bit of trauma into me, a little anxiety about it, and it kind of made me want to. I think instinctively I would always like suck in my stomach to appear like it's not as bad as it is, but I think that's causing me problems. And I acknowledged it like actually a couple years ago, but it's funny how like even acknowledging it, like you really have to do work to really fix that. And maybe I could be doing a better job. Um, I think I'm able to admit that because I don't really think I do it still just instinctively every day, and it's tough to catch myself, because it's just like a normal part of my life now is where if I'm out in public, I'm most likely like sucking in my stomach, and it's not good. I think it's especially if I'm in front of like people and stuff. It's just like it's like a thing I don't even think about. It just happens, you know. So I think that's a fig leaf I have, I feel like it'd be interesting to think about like what's a fig leaf? Like what's something we I don't know, the older you get, like I really realize we have to just start accepting what issues we have, Like what we do wrong, like what hurts other people that we do. You know what I mean? And once you honestly figure that out, it's honestly a blessing because you can just fix it. You can just stop doing that tomorrow. If it's not too, I mean, if it's alcoholism, then obviously it's going to take a little bit of time. But you can make a choice tomorrow. You know what I mean? You can make a choice right now. Once you identify it, you know what I mean? And you stop making it a fig leaf. You take that fig leaf off. The imagery is so bad. But it's true. I think it's very true. Let me take a sip. I don't know what it is. when I'm alone, I just start going so deep. I don't know why. But I enjoy it. It's a fun time. The other thing I kind of was thinking about recently as well was, I don't know who I was watching about it, but I think I was watching some debate stuff, like political, maybe something like that. And there came up like a question about like drive. Like there's two types of different, like the way people are driven in life is there's an internal drive and there's external. And basically internal drive means your life is kind of dictated by your personal like internal monologue and thoughts. Like instead of like taking like externally would be, you make decisions based on either what other people tell you or like what you see from the outside world. And what's recommended or what's like the rules or stuff like that is external drive. And this isn't like one or the other isn't better. I think it's just certain ways we take things or certain ways we try to live life. I see this like once I thought about this question, I was like, oh, I really see there's like certain people that are like that, like differently, and I really think it's like very, very black and white. Like either you are internally or externally. And I think just for me, I think it'd be interesting for everyone to explore, like what you think about that. I think like a lot of my life, I really was very internally driven. I feel like even most of the time I like in my brain, I'm always like thinking about stuff. I'm always thinking about like what I'm doing right now or what I got to do. And like making decisions on, like the future through like debating it in my mind, like figuring it out in my mind, and what I want to do. And I think that like the internal monologue for me is really like strong. It really dictates what I'm doing in life. Even like this, I think this kind of makes sense about this podcast is like what I'm talking about is I think a good example of what I talk about in my head, like throughout the day for the most part. So that's kind of weird to think about that. Yeah, this really is like stuff I would think about throughout the day and I'm saying it out loud. That's kind of strange. But I think I don't know. I enjoy the thought of maybe my brother made a good point about it because I posed that to him. He said that once you have like I think a partner, then once there's another person involved in your decisions, those responsibilities, then you probably have to start being more externally driven. You know what I mean? It's more, but I think still there's a way you can separate. I think you're still your own people, and you could still have like with a partner, you don't always have the same ideas about everything about a relationship or family or stuff like that. So I think that's something you're always trying to figure out. I think maybe like externally that could, let's say like one partner is internal. Let's say I'm internal and my wife is like external. Maybe like my wife like looks at what I think and like takes into account and like and really like tries to work a like compromise to that. When instead maybe I would look at what she's thinking and then I pick the best role to, or pick the best like choice to satisfy both things. You know, I don't know. I think it's a different way of like thinking. You know, I like exploring this. Yeah. Where are we at right now? We're at 41 minutes, baby. What else do we have, man? What else? This is the thing. This is, whenever I click the record button, I just start spewing out everything. And I noticed like the little things. Let me do a little grounding right now. Let me close my eyes really quick. Maybe you're outside. Maybe you're doing something right now. Maybe close your eyes. Maybe take off your headphones. Like if you're listening on headphones, you're listening somewhere, like maybe turn them off. Like walk outside. Like let's say you're home. Go walk outside and like listen to like what noises you hear right now. I'm going to do that. I'm going to take off the headphones. Let's give it like 10 seconds. See, dude, I heard there's a train going by. I hear the rumble of the train that goes by every couple hours. I hear a weird. I noticed it in the beginning when I first set up the podcast setup. There's a little like ringing. I don't think you can hear it because I'll probably edit it out. But there's a little ringing that I never heard before, and I think I hear the dogs from upstairs at my neighbor. And you know what? I don't know what that means, but for some reason, it grounds me to the earth, and I like that. Let's see what we have now. I mean, I did want to really talk about this with Dave. I don't know if I want to talk about it right now, but we have the SAG strikes going on, and let me pull up just some stuff that. I want to pull up some things from, I think there was an article, or there's like some notes of like the negotiations that were attempted, I guess, from SAG with the Hollywood, and it's honestly kind of brutal to like read through. I think I kind of want to save this for Dave though, but obviously I think we can all agree that, writers should be paid a lot more. Creators, I really think creators in general, like people that make stuff, really get a pretty bad deal for the most part, especially if you're like independent and like you're not, and you're like a nobody. Like there's no formula. There's no promise. There's no guaranteed like security. It's tough, man, and once you even make it, you are making like pennies, you know what I mean? Compared to the stars and everything, like the people that just have to, they show up a lot of the time. Like especially I'm talking like Hollywood. I think there's a lot of great acting and great like people in the industry, but I think there's also a lot of like kind of bullshit, and at least these writers should be getting paid a lot more. But I also think, and I saw some people saying that, like, should bad writing be paid too? And I think no. I think bad writing shouldn't be paid. I think you should be paid less than good writing. But how do you gauge that stuff? You know what I mean? I want to see what Dave thinks, because hopefully by next week he's healthy and we can go through that stuff. But obviously, I side with the artists, the creators, the writers. I don't know why I did like a Trump impression. That was terrible. I have something actually we can close out by watching this. I want to watch this together. There's a cool side of YouTube. I'm the YouTube kid. There's a cool side of YouTube. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's like it's older like there's older dudes, that kind of like their goal is to like teach younger people, or like I know that there's one channel that it's like specifically it's about like stuff like your dad would teach you. It's for people that don't have like fathers, and it's different like tying a tie, or like I don't know, like a girlfriend, like having your first girlfriend, stuff like that. And they just teach you things that like probably like a parent or father, like if you don't have one, like you can go to this to learn something. And dude, that is so just it hits like something inside me where I'm like, dude, that is just such a great idea, such a great just like gesture, just a beautiful thought, And it makes the world a little bit better to live in. And I found this dude, this old dude. He kind of blew up. This video has 4 million views now. But it's just this dude. It's from Dry Creek Wrangler School. And this is just an old dude. This is a little bit of the description. Young people are under so much pressure today to have everything figured out and worked out by a certain age. The truth is we're all learning and growing our entire lives, and there are always going to be failures and points in our lives where we don't feel like we have a clue what we are doing. This is natural. I just want to encourage you that at the time of failure, do not consider yourself a failure. No one ever has it all figured out. No one. Life is about learning, growing over the course of the entire journey. I mean, dude, this guy's already just a legend. And look at him, he's just sitting there with a pipe. There's no manlier man. All right, let's get into it.
Morning.
Oh,
Dwayne here,
the voice.
Wrangler School. Let me ask you a question.
Yep.
At what age should you have it all together?
What do you think? I used to think that there had to be an age. I think I'm beating a dead horse by saying this, but I always felt like I said it a bunch of times where I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm never going to get to the point where like when I look at my parents or I look at like an adult, I'm like, oh, they just like their aura is completely different than like, I don't think I could ever reach that like adult parent like persona, But it's just, it's not something you like, you don't like accept like a letter and level up or something. It's not like a video game where you like get the rank, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just I used to think there was like a certain age. Like I turn 30, then it's Mikey's gonna look like an adult.
At what age should you have it all figured out? I get a lot of mostly young men on the channel, and they're from 17 to 35, 36, 39, and they lament that they're at a place in their life and they don't have it figured out, and they don't have it all together.
Dude, and that's insane. He said 17 to 35. Think about that. That's 18 years, man, difference between people. And it's so true, man. It's so true. Like right now, honestly, in life, I feel like I kind of have stuff figured out. And I know I can't be like thinking like that. There's no way I can say, I know it's been enough times already in life where I'm like, I can't just like accept it, I think you start to learn as you get older. It's like, dude, it's gonna change. Something's gonna happen. There's always something gonna happen, and then you're gonna have to figure it out again, And every time you're getting stronger.
And they wonder what's wrong with them.
Oh.
Because they don't have it figured out. They don't have it all together. Of course you don't have it all together.
Oh.
You're not supposed to have it all together. You're not expected to have it all together.
Yeah.
Anybody looks at you at 26, 27, 28 years old and says, hey man, what's wrong with you? How come you don't have everything figured out? They're a fool.
Yeah. Dude, this is like, I'm telling you, this like fills such a like huge void in just like young people's lives. Like if they hear this, I remember hearing this, and this did like crazy things to me. You know, I think I saw this last year. Like when he said 26, I was like, dude, I'm 26. I'm like, bro, like, and someone says you don't have it all together. They're a fool. I just love how just direct and I don't know. This vibe is like the best, and he's like just sitting there, there's like crickets in the back.
Knowledge and experience and wisdom takes time.
Mm.
Wisdom comes from experience, and experience takes time. The more experience you have, the more you learn from that experience, the wiser you can get. If you haven't lived long enough to have a broad enough portfolio of experience, then you can't expect to have knowledge and wisdom. We are told by society today, and it's inferred by movies and television programs, that by the time you're 26 or 27, you should be graduated from college, you should have a degree, you should have a good job, you should have a wife, and you should have it together. We watch these programs, and this movie, it's an hour and a half long, and within an hour and a half, a person goes from a goofed up teenager to someone who's just settled and got it all going on.
Dude, that is so freaking true, man. That's crazy, isn't it? That's such a cool, just like thing. That's such a good observation. Yeah, like in movies and stuff. It's like we're watching this movie where we see the underdog. We see the dude that's trying to. He's in a dump. He's got thrown into a trash can, and like in an hour, well, maybe a little more than an hour, he's the king. He's killing it. And I wonder what that does to. I wonder if that's not good, man. I wonder if. Oh my goodness. What about with like love, dude? Like all these movies that I'm watching where like these two people meet and they're perfect for each other and they end up together at the end. It's like, dude, it's just been an hour and a half. It doesn't work like that in real life. I wonder what that's doing to our brain, dude. Like the skewing of reality, you know? That's tough, man. That's really tough. That's almost I would be very interested to see how we can get around that. You know? With films and movies and music and stuff like that, you know? Like is there a way to realistically like show that? I don't know. I think there is. I think it's just tough. I think the time constraint is so weird. Yeah. I think you know what? I think recently the thing I've seen that's the most this is kind of going to be funny to say realistic is probably the show Beef. Like in terms of obviously it's a crazy thing to say realistic because it's such an absurdly crazy story. But it's the most real thing. It's like two people. If you haven't watched Beef, go watch Beef, please. There might be a spoiler or two in here. But two people get into like a road rage argument, the most real thing that we've ever done. And then you actually act on that impulse to go and like find them and cause their life hell. And then like they slowly learn about each other and slowly end up in a predicament where they realize that they're very similar and find like a love for each other. Like that's a bit more realistic for what I think. You know what I mean? And that obviously is a series, so it makes sense that it works a little better. But for a movie, it's tough, man. Because, yeah, you're getting everything in an hour and a half to 2 hours. And that's a little fucking scary, man, to think about. Yeah. There's a dude, and I think that really hits me because I like to internalize that kind of stuff. Like, I like to internalize, like, a good, like, movie, like, I'm like, oh, like, that's great. You know what, dude? The Before trilogy, that's a great movie that's super realistic, you know? But that's not a lot, huh? Dang. All right, let's keep going. I love this.
And they get the job. They put their childhood bully in his place.
Yep.
They get the girl.
Yep.
Fade to black. And we're left to imagine the rest of their life. And what we imagine is left with the last thing that we see. Man, they got it together.
Oh. Imagine we just had movies where you left like just devastated and sad and depressed.
Of course, we don't consider the fact that if you turn the TV off and watch the news, you'll see those same actors show up in the news again and again making stupid mistakes, and they ain't got it together. A pine tree grows and matures very fast.
He said a pine tree. He paused and said a pine tree. Now, when he just know he's dropping the knowledge when he says that. Dude, I gotta start taking more pauses. Do you see how smooth that sounds? Took the drag.
A pine tree.
A pine tree. Dude, I mean, he sounds like a wizard. I need to say that one more time.
A pine tree.
A pine tree
grows and matures very fast.
Dude.
An oak tree grows and matures very
slow.
Very slow.
Did you see how he did the very, very slow?
But which one lasts longer?
Oh my. Dude, I'm gonna.
And which one's stronger? Which one shelters more critters and more birds? Which one, when it's done and over...
This makes me want to be religious, dude.
Cut down. Which one is more valuable
Lord Jesus.
for the lumber? People don't go out and say, I'm going to spend extra money for some pine furniture.
Yeah.
They want oak furniture.
True.
There's a lot of...
Taking a drag?
Sentiment expressed on the channel.
Oh.
Boy, Dwayne, I wished you'd have been my dad. No, you don't. No, you don't. There's sentiments expressed on there that, I'm flattered, but I know better. I don't take it serious. Nobody bursts from their mother's womb ready for the world.
Dude.
Nobody bursts from their mother's womb aged and mature and wise. And I'm not wise. I'm not saying I'm wise. I just say that happened. That's why that happened. So, man, maybe we ought not do that. I don't know. To me, that's a kind of a shallow, easy definition of wisdom. But I'm 55 years old, and I'm just now starting to get a little bit figured out.
Dude.
There's a song that Ian Tyson sings. And if you like cowboy music and you're not familiar with Ian Tyson, you ought to look him up. But he's got a song called The Old Double Diamond.
Yep.
And it's about an old cowboy that the ranch he's worked on for years is getting sold. And there's and he says on there, when I first hired on to the Old Double Diamond, I was a darn poor excuse for a man. Yeah. Mama's laughing back there. I edited that for you. It says, I never learned how to aim when the spirit was tame. I couldn't see all the cards in my hand. Well, son, a lot of what your difficulty is right now is you have not yet learned how to aim while the spirit is tame. And you can't see all the cards in your hand. It's not saying the cards aren't there. It's just you haven't matured enough to see them.
Dude. It's like poetry you can unpack, man. We have all the tools and opportunities and even if we think we don't, even in the most, darkest, saddest places, there's definitely something, there's definitely like there's something that can be there's an outcome that could be made, if we're able to see what we have and what we can possibly, do and have a will to learn something or learn this so that I could do this to eventually maybe do that, I feel like a lot of stuff in life right now that is being pushed is the shortcut, is the opposite of what this guy's saying, is not putting in the work to learn that, to get this, to do that, to bring that person into here. It's more, skipping these steps so that I just get it all, and that's not sustainable. That's not going to teach you, I think that's why there's a lot more, I think there's a lot more success, but I think there's a lot more successful, like a more, as in success, I mean, there's a lot more like wealthy people, I think, that have succeeded through, like these influencers or people that get these like schemes to get rich. But I think there's a lot less happy people up there. There really are. I don't think there's a lot of happy people there. And I think we should all strive to be happy, to be content, to be more fulfilled, instead of, thinking that fulfillment comes from material or things that don't hold that worth, And the funny part is like this guy says, you're probably gonna make those mistakes, and you're probably gonna think you made it, and it's gonna be another pitfall. There's gonna be another problem. There's gonna be another obstacle, and another learning point, and another time where you just think, "Damn, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have nothing together." But the most important thing is to acknowledge that we don't have it all together. And I love this guy. And if you want to, I would recommend following this dude and watching the full video. It's just just to sit down, just alone, and like just listen to this man. He knows what it is. He's not telling you that he's the guy. You know what I mean? But he's saying, I learned a little bit of something. Finally learned a little bit. And that's I don't know. I'm grateful for that. That's Dry Creek Wrangler School on YouTube. Check him out. I love it. And I think that's it, baby. Guys, I appreciate you. If you stuck around, yeah, I don't know. I'm sad Dave isn't here, but sometimes you gotta ride the ship alone. And now I'm coming to Wrangler. They call me Wrangler Mike. I got a snake in my... I'm sorry. I made it so stupid. Okay. That's episode 235. We love you. I love you. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Should look up Anytown Actors Lab. Check out the Wrangler School down in the description. And shout out to the patrons. We love you. I appreciate it. And hey, have a great rest of the week. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, my dude. Keep going. And keep learning. Keep figuring it out. And you know what? That pitfall's going to come. But I know we're going to be ready. How many times, think about this. If you're feeling something, like if you're feeling down at all, how many times have you been in a similar spot or in a dark place or a darker place? And it's worked out. It's going to work out, baby. And if you need something, hit us up on the Patreon or anonymously on the website, youareherepodcast.net. My name is Mike, and I'm signing out. Peace.